Awesome. Well, it's great to be here tonight with all of you. This isn't my first time back in Jackson County since I'm back running for election to Wisconsin's 3rd Congressional District. I'm Rebecca Cooke. I'm taking on Derek Van Orden, and I'm looking to flip this seat back to blue, as I know many of us are. I want to give a huge thank you to the matriarch of Jackson County, Linda Heller. So thank you, Linda. And like I mentioned, this isn't the first time I've been back through here. I was down here for the Jackson County Fair and had a lovely barn tour by our friend Dan Schultz over here, if you want to give a wave. So Dan's been a longtime dairy farmer in this district and introduced me to a lot of great folks, so I was really grateful for that. And then I was also really grateful to be down here for the Labor Day powwow with the Ho-Chunk Nation, and want to thank the Walker family for such a beautiful day. It was a very, very profound experience, such an amazing celebration of your heritage. And, you know, in Congress, one of my top priorities is protecting tribal sovereignty, which would work to ensure the current 573 federally recognized tribes maintain their inherent power of self-government. So I've gotten to know a lot of you folks. There's a few different contingencies here from La Crosse and Eau Claire, some Clark County people I got a chance to meet. But I've also gotten to know a few people here in Jackson County over the last couple of years. And there's a lot of people here that I don't know. And so if you haven't got to know me, I want to introduce myself to you. So I'm a 6th generation Wisconsinite. I grew up in the Eau Claire area, so I grew up on a dairy farm, showing cattle and 4-H since about the time I could walk and hold a halter. So all over the region at the Colfax Fair, the Chippewa Fair, the Eau Claire Fair, down at the State Fair in Milwaukee, and that is a really big part of my identity. But like a lot of Wisconsin farmers, a lot of people that you know, we had to sell our cows because of the price of milk and competition with larger dairies. And when you lose a farm, it's not just, you know, losing a business, but it's a part of your heritage, your traditions, your way of life. And we see Congress now playing political football with the Farm Bill. People like Derek Van Orden who are not taking their position seriously on a brink of a government shutdown. And so, I went on to go to school in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, St. Paul. I ended up coming back to Eau Claire about 8 years ago. I started a small business in our downtown community. So I understand a lot of the challenges that small businesses are facing, that main streets are facing all around this district. It was a Made in America retail shop, so we work to source goods from local and regional makers, supporting local and regional economies. I started a nonprofit organization about a year into starting my own business because I was hearing from other women business owners, man, I wish I could do what you're doing. How did you do that? Could you teach me how? I don't have the startup capital. So the Red Letter Grant has supported 39 businesses in 10 counties throughout this region for the last 7 years. In rural communities, helping rural mental health clinics get started, helping restaurants get off on the right foot, helping independent bookstores. Because we know that it's not the Dollar General at the end of the road that really makes a community special. Yes. So because of that work, Governor Evers appointed me to the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, or WEDC as we know it, where I was really able to advocate for folks, not just at their kitchen table, but at the board level as well. And so I was the co-chair of the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Committee when I was on that board. And I stepped on to run when the seat opened up, and Ron Kind retired. And so I ran. I'm glad to see Senator Brad Pfaff here tonight. I ran with him in the Democratic primary last cycle and placed a strong second place. I won 11 out of 19 counties in this district. My home county of Eau Claire, Portage County, more populous places, but also a lot of rural counties. And I think my background, having grown up on a dairy farm, I understand a lot of the challenges that these communities are facing. So when it comes to issues, one of the top things that I'm running on is expanding access and affordability for healthcare. So my parents, they're aging right now. They are both on Medicare. and when they go to Mexico on their once-a-year vacation, they get their dental work done there because it's cheaper to do there than it is in our own country. And I want to expand Medicare when I'm elected to cover vision, dental, and hearing, the very things that deteriorate as folks age. I had some unfortunate news with my dad recently. He was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and so that's been tough on our family on a variety of levels, and went in to get his prescription drugs for the first time from Walgreens. $1,300 copay. We've got corporations that are price gouging consumers at every turn, and politicians are busy lining their pockets with pharmaceutical dollars, special interest dollars, and we need somebody who's going to be a real champion and take that on.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. So one of the things I didn't mention is I ended up closing my business at the end of last year. So we all have seen the effects of inflation and what that's done on our economy, rising costs of everyday goods, and it's also really tough to do business. Retail margins are thin. And so I decided to close my business. I'd ran for 7 years downtown, still supporting other women entrepreneurs. I still run an Airbnb business in Menominee, but I'm back waitressing. And I think there's so much dignity in hourly work and being able to connect with people, not just my coworkers about the different challenges that they're facing, but also my customers. I was just working at the restaurant last night. So, I don't know if anybody knows this off the top of their head, but who knows what the tipped minimum wage is in Wisconsin?
$2.33.
Bingo, Grant, right on the money. So the tip minimum wage is $2.33 an hour, which is a very antiquated law. There's some folks on the state level that are working to flip that on its head. But as somebody that's running for a federal office, I want to expand our federal minimum wage to be $15 an hour, and that's a starting point. I think that workers need to be paid fair wages. When you've got corporations that are reporting record profits, price gouging consumers, and not paying their workers. I come from a union family, so my brother's a union firefighter down in Madison. My sister works for the teachers union in Minnesota. So you know that I'm going to work to get the PRO Act passed when I'm in Congress that would work to undo, the work that Scott Walker and his cronies did with Act 10. And so bringing it all back to cronies, I'm taking on Derek Van Orden, who moved to this district, I see Tom in the back, who moved into this district for the limelight of running for Congress. He's not from here. He is an author, he's an actor, and congressman is just another feather in his hat. And when you look at what the Republican Party is doing right now to hijack our government and the power of a few people, this is not representative of us. You don't see a lot of folks my age. I'm 35 years old. I know I look a little bit younger than that, but I'm 35 years old. And we don't see a lot of working class people representing us in Congress. We don't see small business owners, waitresses, because it's a lot of wealthy folks that end up running for office because you spend a lot of time, like I was doing today, calling folks on the phone, raising dollars. And it's hard for everyday people to be represented and reflected. And so that's one of the reasons why I stepped up, is I think that we need a new generation of leaders in Congress, people that are going to take folks like Derek Van Orden head on and hold their feet to the fire. So I got into this race about 2.5 months ago, and we have been going all gas, no brakes. Had cookouts all over the district. I've been to almost every county fair this summer, and we're going to keep showing up. And we're gonna flip this seat back to blue. So I just want to thank you all so much for having me here today. I want to do one more plug, as Colin did. Today is actually the federal election committee. It's our fundraising deadline. So we've been focusing on fundraising all day. Maddie from my team is back there. And if you're interested in supporting me and helping send a pragmatic working class leader to Washington, you raise your hand and she'll bring you a contribution envelope. So thank you guys so much.